generations, they are more, they're less. So there are three different things. Um, First of all, that they're more. They see that power is not defined by your place in the pyramid, but more your lateral reach. So how well you're embedded in different networks. So to be embedded, to be part of networks, gives you more power than actually to have a vertical power. Um, Moving away from ownership towards experiences and sharing. So you identify less with owning things, but more about sharing things. And from individualism, especially important in Western societies, from individualism to actually being embedded. And that leads to actually a situation where people are more and more susceptible to buy into this third industrial revolution thinking, because that's very much lateral thinking. It's about creating networks, about exchanging freely, about not owning things but sharing things, like the sharing economy, like not owning a car but having access to transportation. That is something that the technology gives us, but that also leads to, and that's my thesis, that actually the technology drives a change in the way that we think. And Uno-san says, okay, no, we need to educate people, because basically they but he's coming from a different angle. He says, okay, well, you see change in the way people communicate. They don't have courage. They don't know how to greet each other. They don't know how to communicate with people directly around them, and we're losing traditional values. And then the question is, okay, is really something going wrong? Yes, we're losing, but basically we're in transition, and I believe that the transition is driven by the way that we experience the world. The younger generation grows up in networks. They grow up with that you derive your power by the number of followers you have on Facebook and on YouTube.
Network here means like social network.
Well, not only social networks, but it's also being part of the LinkedIn and having access to different business networks in Asia, for example, that give you power.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I wonder the how Japanese get what kind of the network the Japanese put our wish or put our the trust on, because the other hand, as Uno-san always mentioning that the Chinese has their own network, family network,
right,
even in overseas. Then Europe, US, they have also owned their network, where some the offshore information is being exchanged,
right,
shared. Then some opportunities could also be given.
right. So what we
so
saw.
in terms of that, the network, an offshore network, the which is aside from just offshore formal business network, then what could be Japanese one, where we could trust on.
Right. So what we saw last week, when we looked at Germany, and their approach towards the third industrial revolution, what they're doing, I clearly remember that they go hand in hand. So they go through this transition process, but they really inviting companies to come on board to start their business in Germany or vice versa, and give access to this technology, because the more brain power, the more resources they can put into this process, the more Germany as a country can benefit. So this is, I think that's an attitude like, okay, this is not going to be limited to anywhere. How can we attract? How can we open ourselves up to as many networks as possible so that we can benefit from our lateral presence and actually get more power behind it? Now, this kind of thinking, even the Japanese, or of course there is this cultural identity, but do you identify yourself as being Japanese, or do you identify yourself as being a businessman who has something interesting to offer, whether I'm Japanese or Chinese or whatever? There are so many networks out there. It doesn't really matter if I'm going to develop my software in Vietnam or India. I have to adjust myself. I have to adapt. I have to be agile. But having the capacity to do business on a global scale anywhere, regardless of my position in that network, it needs presence. Getting over the idea that it's China versus Japan or Korea or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's about opportunities.
So as a group, as digital solutions and world is getting more and more in convergence. It's getting more convergent.
I think so.
Than, the less important to do some businesses.
Right.
Then this means the form of traditional human network could potentially be also the change into some other new form.
Right. Because and also, like, in addition to that, I mean, as Rifkin says in his presentation, he says, well, basically our biggest challenge is a global challenge. Global warming is the biggest challenge that we are facing as a human species. So that doesn't really work well with our notion and sticking to our land borders, because this is a transnational problem that needs to be dealt with on a global level. So that means that leveraging the networks and not thinking about what we do versus what they do, but reaching out and embracing that together. So yes, definitely, I think there will be less and less value by the younger generation. Less value will be put on the nation of origin, and more, okay, how can I get access to these different networks, and how can I open networks so that I can attract people to come on my network? Because the bigger the network will be, the more power you have. It's very, very clear. When I came to Japan, I had an idea how to revolutionize the shipping industry. I made a very nice piece of software, but unfortunately I was not able to attract a lot of people. A friend of mine, he created something similar for the consultancy world. His software is, well, I haven't even seen it. It doesn't really matter. But what he did different from what I did is that he immediately started to bring partners to the table. And he actually succeeded in bringing some very influential partners to the table. So the value of his network that he created is enormous. It's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, because people want in. People want to be part of that network. So the network creates the value. So it's very important. It's not the value of your product; it's how many people you can get to actually get on your network.
Mm.
はい、皆さんこんにちは、雲野です。今日はですね、雲野塾の研修のプログラムをご紹介したいと思います。で、こういうふうなホームページありますけれども、ぜひですね、一度中身をご覧になっていただきたいと思います。 今日は V キューブさんのスタジオに来て、この収録をしておりますので、中身はこういうふうになってて、今最近ホットなね、グローバルリーダーの定義など書いてあります。で特に経団連が作成しました、留学すれば英語ができて専門性を持つというだけではですね、グローバルリーダーになれないとここに書いてありますようにですね、仕事ができる、専門性を持つ、英語ができるだけじゃなくてですね、私どもの塾ではリベラルアーツということ、それからもう一つは孫子の兵を、さらにはですね、日本の歴史というものを合わせて教えることによって、皆さんが海外の欧米の方々と、もしくは華僑圏の方々と正々堂々と渡り合えるような人物を育成しようというふうなことを考えております。ここに次のスライドが出ておりますけれども、ここに書いてありますのはですね、さらに、私どもの雲野塾の中身につきましてはですね、欧米の資料しか使っておりません。また実際に雲野塾は英語でやっておりますので、英語の講師がこう話しておりますけど、学習はですね、日本の歴史をまだ教えてますので、学習の午後はですね、日本のプログラムをしております。以前はこれ有料だったので、今はですね、実際に会場費も取っていただいておりませんで、毎回5000円ということで、朝9時から午後5時までやっておりますので、ぜひ皆さんですね、ご検討の上ご参加いただければと。英語のできない方もですね、学習の午後こういうふうな検証をしておりますので、ぜひご参加いただければというふうに思っておりますので、よろしくお願いします。でここにさらにですね、グループ討議とか実務の勘どころを教えると書いてありますけど、実際には私が10年ほどですね、欧米の新聞とか雑誌等をですね、集めてきた、もともと英語のベースでございますので、そうしたものをですね、50セッションのテーマに分けて資料を作成しております。そういうことで、世界のオペレーション、もしくはカントリーリスクも含めてですね、しかも世界のトップの方々に対してもいろいろな分析とか洞察をしてですね、議論をしております。そういったことも含めてですね、今後ともよろしくお願いしたいと思います。以上で私の挨拶を終えますが、今回のこのビデオの収録にあたってはですね、V キューブさんのスタジオをお借りしてですね、お時間を頂戴して、このビデオを作成させていただきました。よろしくお願いします。どうもありがとうございました。